Jesus had a knack for taking everyday aspects of people's lives and relating them to spiritual matters. It's one of the things that makes him such a profound teacher. It's one thing to teach someone some concept, but it's a whole other thing to teach someone in a multi-dimensional way. A great example of how Jesus did this was the story of the house built on the sand and the house built on the rock. Matthew 7:24-27 says, "Everyone then who hears these words of mine and does them will be like a wise man who built his house on the rock. And the rain fell, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat on that house. But it did not fall, because it had been founded on the rock. And everyone who hears these words of mine and does not do them will be like a foolish man who built his house on the sand. And the rain fell, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat against that house, and it fell. And great was the fall of it." On one hand, Jesus is talking about how it's stupid, my words, to build a house on sand. Go to East Beach on St. Simon's, and you'll see houses that are dangerously close to toppling onto the beach. Jesus says it's wise to build a house on rock. It's a no-brainer, rock is more stable than sand. But he's using that real-world aspect to teach these people something spiritual. In the Bible, there's something scholars call the principle of expositional constancy. Fancy term, but it means symbolism in the Bible tends to be consistent. Take rock, for example. In almost every place that term comes up in Scripture, it's talking about Jesus. Jesus is the rock. No, not that one. Jesus is the original rock. What Jesus is saying in these verses is that a life built on him will be stable. He's the rock, and our life is the house. Who better to build our life on than the most stable thing we can? So make sure your life is built on the rock, and when the storms come along in your life, your foundation will remain firm.